You can see him going at it again with a lot of High Templar and Zealots and another Arbiter. Gonna try to storm some of these SCVs, try to cut down Gretorp's economy by killing those SCVs. Gretorp constantly reinforcing though. Ooh, ouch, accidentally storming his own Arbiter. Gretorp is forced to lift though, pull his SCVs back. Sonic Storm going off over a lot of those SCVs as they retreat. Meanwhile, Gretorp slowly pushing to the 9 o'clock main. Looks like LighT are going to try to focus on the command center now, try to take that out. Gretorp reinforcing though with his couple siege tanks. Command center is going to make it to safety. Now 9 o'clock being finished off, but LighT trying to compensate for the loss of that expansion takes the 3 o'clock main and the 3 o'clock natural expansion, which I think would have been a safer move in the beginning, considering that Gretorp had taken the top left. All it would have taken was for him just to defend this area and then easily push into the 9 o'clock. But hindsight's 20/20, and observers are always the master tacticians, as they say. And I'm not talking about observers as a unit, I'm talking about observers as in people watching the game. So. But let it be known that LighT could probably kick my butt. So, yeah. Both of these guys probably could. LighT still hasn't taken an island expansion. That kind of surprises me. You think he would have... I don't know. Now that he's seen that Gretorp has kind of moved away from the dropships a little bit, he could easily take both islands and easily secure those sources of income for himself. Or at least an Arbiter drop. I mean, there are spider mines, yes, but... Well, a lot of spider mines, but not near the factories, though. I mean... I don't know. Usually that's one thing that you want to do as a Protoss player, is try to get in the Arbiter drops, because... what's happening is a Terran will just mass up his army into one huge ball, and then what he'll do is he'll just move the ball from location to location to location. And a 200-200 Terran will always beat down a 200-200 Protoss. Heck, even a 160 Terran versus a 200 Toss will beat down the Toss. The only thing that Protoss has going for him with the Arbiters is that he shuts down the Terran production. You either stop the flow of reinforcements or you shut down the production. That's the only way in the late game PvT that you're going to get on even grounds with the Terran player, because eventually, as a Protoss player, if you're doing things right, you're sending wave after wave of units into the Terran line, trying to stall it from pushing in on your main base or your expansion, wherever it's pushing towards, slowly taking out units, and then you do the recall on the factories to either, like I said, take out the flow of reinforcements, so that eventually your forces from the gateways overpower the forces pushing on them, or you take out the factories themselves, and that effectively shuts down a Terran player for a good 2-3 minutes while he tries to rebuild his factories, and that's when you take out his ground force, and then you start harassing his expansions, and that's when you can force him to GG and leave the game. But as it stands, LighT, if he does go with an Arbiter, he better scout out with an Observer first, or if he does go with an Arbiter, at least have the idea that Gretorp knows that he's going to be doing that in advance, and prepare by just going deeper into the Terran base to drop on it. Gretorp has successfully secured the 9 o'clock location for himself. 3-3 just pretty much kicking in now for Gretorp. Going to start melting the Protoss armies here pretty soon. LighT running up a very small force of Dragoons. Not quite sure what he hoped to accomplish there. Maybe he's just trying to do a little scouting mission. Just trying to harass as best he can. Still very... Ooh, ouch. A lot of those Dragoons are hurt and they get picked off. And the Arbiter gets picked off as well. Now LighT coming in to hit the middle only. Gretorp's forces are nowhere nearby, and Louder will be able to force that command center to fly away. Arbiter at 164 energy. This would be a great time to fly that Arbiter up into the Terran main and do a recall. Looks like Louder's going to do it the old-fashioned way, then we'll walk his army in. Vultures, Siege Tanks, Goliath, and Spider Mines, oh my, going to be able to stop his attack cold though. Nice stasis going off on a Siege Tank and a Vulture, so maybe not so nice. But that is a very nice Psionic Storm, picking off those Siege Tanks, and going to be able to start getting into Gretorp's base here. Gretorp now on the defensive. Most of his army is at the 3 o'clock location. Not too much defending his natural, and that is going to go down to this small incursion force of Louder. Reinforcements coming out of the factories, trying to defend, trying to prevent those Protoss units from getting up the ramp. Barracks floating there just to make things a little bit more difficult for Louder. I don't think Louder is going to be able to do it even with the Archons there. Losing too many forces trying to climb up that ramp. Barracks is going to burn down though. Kaboom! So Gretorp able to defend his main base, and I'm really surprised Gretorp is still he's able to produce so much just out of 6 factories. Once he gets these 2 expansions going, he's gonna he might put down 1 more factory maybe, but really you can see him using his resources, just trying to keep those 6 going at the moment. If he can maybe secure 1 more base, a mineral only or island expansion, he might be able to start putting down more factories, start getting a higher army, a higher supply army on the field. As it stands, he's at 148 to a maxed out Louder. Gretorp has missed his chance to really take out these 3 o'clock locations. More gateways have been produced at these expansions. Louder has had them for a while now, and he's pretty well entrenched. And since they're the last 2 mining places for Louder, he's going to pretty much defend them with all he has. Gretorp, in the meantime, has his own expansion and 9 o'clock main base. So it's like pretty much that the locations have changed. It's not top versus bottom anymore. It's left versus right now. So. You know, and a recall on this command center would work. I mean, it'd probably be a lot easier to recall on this now instead of trying to go for the main base. Of course, cutting out the factories would be nice. I mean, that's, 1,000 minerals or more right here. Kill these and you stop the flow of production. Or he could easily do a recall, bam, right here at the 9 o'clock main base. Take that out. Force Gretorp to spend another 400 minerals to replace that command center if Louder can take it out. Granted, there are quite a few Siege Tanks and Vultures nearby, but if Louder is smart with the recall, he would force Gretorp to unsiege those Siege Tanks, and he could easily pressure them with an army on the ground into the natural expansion, and he could force Gretorp to GG right there. Louder finally taking the island expansion, both island expansions, and that is going to help him secure the game. Arbiters coming in. 1 Arbiter came in. Almost got picked off, but was able to do a recall. Recalled in 2 more Arbiters who have full energy. Almost full energy. I don't know where the heck this Arbiter is going. He's gonna... Almost ran right into a turret over here. Almost has 150 energy. It too could do a recall here if it felt like it. But Louder now finally doing the right thing. Picking off supply depots. Picking off tech. Picking off factories. He could easily do another recall here. Gretorp on the counterattack, not able to save his factories. Not going to be able to spend resources at all. Going to finally push in on Louder's 3 o'clock location. Louder with an army here, not doing too much yet. He could have got his army into position, but has not chosen to do so. Maybe he's just too busy microing his forces up here, not quite sure.